Yesterday was December 14th. I really love croissants, especially in the morning in their simplest form, without anything extra on top, just dough, butter, and thyme. But I realized something. Every country reinterprets the croissant. Some change the dough, some the butter, some the baking method. Under the same name, completely different characters emerge. And this isn't just about pastry, it's about interpretation. As something spreads across the world, does it drift away from its essence, or does it become richer? That's hard to decide. But in France, on a small old street, walking past a bakery where time didn't seem to rush, I felt something very clearly. This was different. I understood it with the very first bite. There was no exaggeration, no performance. Yet the butter seeping between the layers kept reminding itself with every mouthful. It wasn't too greasy, not dry, not ambitious, not lacking. Simple, yet deep. Quiet, yet powerful. In that moment, I thought, some things stay truest the less they're reinterpreted. Croissants exist all over the world now, but the real experience sometimes appears only on a narrow street, in an old bakery, with nothing added. Yesterday, that made me think, is interpretation what matters, or is it preserving the essence while passing it on? Maybe everyone has their own croissant, but some flavors don't need explanation. They need witnessing. And on that street in France, I felt this. Some things can be described by anyone, but not everyone can make you truly experience them. That's what December 14th made me think about. When I got home that evening, I opened my history notebook. On the page for December 14th, there was a single sentence. December 14th, 1911, Roald Amundsen became the first human to reach the South Pole. I paused for a moment, because while I had been thinking about croissants earlier that day, I suddenly felt a strange connection between that thought and this sentence. Amundsen reaching the South Pole was not just a story of discovery. It was a story about choosing the right method. At the time, everyone wanted to reach the same place, the same goal, the same maps, the same cold. But not everyone arrived at the same outcome. Amundsen chose simplicity over spectacle, lighter equipment, less weight but more usefulness, less risk, more adaptation. He didn't exaggerate. He didn't add unnecessary interpretation. He didn't try to dominate nature. Just like that small bakery on the narrow French street. Thinking about the croissant, I realized something. Everyone in the world looks at the same recipe, yet the results are completely different. Because the real issue isn't the ingredients, it's intention and balance. Amundsen became the first to reach the South Pole because he didn't try to decorate the journey. He simply tried to pass through it. A croissant is the same. Every addition turns it into something else. But when its essence is preserved, it reminds you exactly where it comes from. Maybe the greatest illusion of the modern world is this: we think value comes from what we add, but sometimes value is hidden in what we remove. Amundsen's journey made me think this: the path to a goal isn't always the most complex one. The quietest path may be the truest one. And like a croissant, some things may travel the world, but they only preserve their true form in hands that don't force them too much. At the end of December 14th, I wrote this in the margin: some journeys are not won by decoration. Some flavors aren't either. And I closed the page.